Good morning once again, FCF. We're continuing in 1 Peter. Now, yesterday we looked at chapter 2, verses 13 through 15, and the subject of submission. Christians were urged to be submissive to governments, to cooperate with government to the best that you can, the best degree. And you do this so that the gospel, the message of Christ, might be more acceptable, might be more advanced. He's kind of continuing that thought when I pick up now reading in verse 16. He says to the Christians, live as free men, but do not use your freedom as a cover-up for evil. Live as servants of God. Show proper respect to everyone. Love the brotherhood of believers. Fear God and honor the King. And that word fear there, again, it's the idea of have supreme reverence for God. And then, of course, it also adds in for a second time to honor the King. We read, for example, in verse 13, that we were to give submission to the king as the supreme authority. In those days, kingdoms were the most of what the forms of government were. So here again, we're told that as Christians, we should first of all show respect to everyone, every human being, regardless of what their condition now, regardless of what they've done to themselves or made of their life. They're still made in the image of God. Christ still died for them. Therefore, they are worthy of respect. Now, this doesn't mean that we agree with everything they say or do or think. It does mean, though, that we'll treat them with respect regardless. I mean, Jesus talked about even an enemy, that we're to pray for our enemies, to try to find a way to do good to our enemies and to bless them. So we're to show respect to everyone as Christians, and this is an admirable thing. And we're to take our freedom that we have, this freedom in Christ, but we're not to use it for self-indulgence. We're not to use it to be lazy people or irresponsible people. We're to use this freedom to become servants, obvious servants of God and servants of man. When governments and communities see that the Christ followers are no threat, that they are actually those that are going to promote healthy communities and healthy governments and safety in a community, it gives affection and respect toward the message of Christ. And so Christians are urged to submit once again to government. Once again, it says, love the brotherhood of believers, fear or revere God, and honor the King. We'll continue with this theme of submission when we look at our passage tomorrow, and it's going to weave in a new subject, and it's the subject of suffering that is very extensively covered in the book of 1 Peter. So I will see you tomorrow.